Welcome, everybody. We have people tuning in from all over the world that are going to be watching this, that are watching right now with us. And welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a big question for you. How many of you would love to be elite thought leaders so you can grow your business, expand your network, and make a difference in this world? How many of you out there? Yes. How many of you like to do that while avoiding burnout, imposter syndrome, and that social media overwhelm? Yeah. Can relate. And how many would like to do that sooner than later? 100%. Yay, then you are in the right place. I am so excited to have you all here and introduce you to two amazing rock star friends of mine that I am thrilled to be working with. First of all, just briefly, myself, you're like, who is this person? I am Michelle Cameron Coulter. I am actually an Olympic gold medalist. I share that because I failed my first level of swimming 4 times. Never in a million years did I think I would go to the Olympics in a pool, no less, in synchronized swimming. And there's no way I would have gotten myself there without surrounding myself with the best of the best. And one of the joys that I have now is working with the best in industries around the world and bringing their work to the world and impacting people's lives. And I have two of the most outstanding friends and colleagues here with me today that I have the honor of introducing. Brian and Nancy, welcome, welcome. I'm going to do an actual thorough intro because it's pretty incredible what both of you have done. But just say a quick hi before I introduce you.
Hey, everybody.
Hey
Welcome, welcome.
everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Excited to
Yeah,
have you here.
so good. Absolutely. So Brian, who I met a few years ago, Brian is actually named the King of Community on LinkedIn by Forbes. Okay, that's no small feat. Known as the grandfather and pioneer of LinkedIn videos and one of the world's premier live streaming and video marketing experts. Brian is not one, not two, not three, but 11-time best-selling author, internationally known keynote speaker, whose expertise insights has won him 2 global award-winning LinkedIn live shows, or he has 2 global LinkedIn live shows that are world-renowned, been featured in Forbes, Thrive Global, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance. Okay, he's no little guy, I'm telling you, like big stuff happening, multiple best-selling. I could go on. There's so much. We get to meet more and hear more about Brian, but I do have to share a little bit more because he is the founder and CEO of Voice Your Vibe, groundbreaking masterminds, and his Heart Leadership Program. He brings 20 years of experience, wealth, and knowledge to entrepreneurs all over the world. And this is staggering, but being a purpose-driven messenger for the work that he does, and one of the top influencers on LinkedIn that, okay, Brian, you told me the stat last I heard it was 750 million users on LinkedIn, but it's now 1 billion users on LinkedIn, and you're one of the top 50 influencers on there. So like huge. I got to read just a little bit more. 4 times LinkedIn top voice, LinkedIn creator of the year, and one of the most impactful influencers on LinkedIn. I know there's so much more, but does that just give you a little idea? Like huge. So welcome, Brian. Yay.
Yay, and I
then,
get to follow that.
yes, and because they are a dynamo team, I'm not kidding. Nancy Deborah Barrows, who is a renowned queen of engagement, is also an accomplished keynote speaker. Her achievements span numerous accolades, including 5 times recognized as LinkedIn's top voice in thought leadership, public speaking, communication, etc. She has also been named one of the top 50 most impactful people on LinkedIn, which is incredible when there's 1 billion people. So, I mean, you can read more of their bios. I have gotten to know them as 2 of the most incredible human beings that I know that are making so much significant impact in the world. So I'm just grateful to have you both here joining us today. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you for that. My face hurts from smiling.
Me too. So I know that you're doing some amazing work and helping your clients become elite leaders, thought leaders on LinkedIn and beyond. and beyond, not just on LinkedIn, but becoming those thought leaders globally in so many facets and areas. So first question we get to dive in is like, what inspired you to help people become those elite thought leaders globally? What inspired you both?
Well, I was inspired by Brian and his story. And I'll let actually, Brian, why don't you start with your story and how you began on LinkedIn, and then up until the point where I entered the picture, and then I can take over from there for a bit.
You got
Sounds
it.
good.
So, I never felt like I fit in growing up. I was a pound and a half miracle baby that wasn't supposed to live. I grew up with a neurological disorder, twitching and ticking my way through life, and got bullied a lot and just wanted to blend in. And so I was really hesitant about sharing my story because it's not something that I ever done in a business setting. This year is 20 years every day on LinkedIn for me. And
Pause just a second. That's massive, because I didn't share, but I think you were one of the first ever to go live on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
live as well as LinkedIn video. Yeah.
And LinkedIn video. Yeah, amazing. And that's almost 20 years ago.
Well,
That's
no, the LinkedIn video was about 7 years ago. LinkedIn Live about a year, about 6 years. But just astronomical in terms of changing the dynamic of the platform and making it human.
Yeah.
So it was, my why for 20 years has always been to, well, my whole life, but on LinkedIn to inspire one person a day. And, it's been in a truly incredible journey with this just incredible community that we call LinkedIn Fam, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So I was terrified to share my story, and I did that when video launched, and no idea what people were going to say. Terrified how people were going to react. I was still working for a company at the time. Everything you could think of possible of what's going to happen, and all the love, support, and encouragement that I got, it changed my life literally forever. And it made me want to continue to, and even more so, make others, as Nancy, Deborah, and I both say, make people feel seen, heard, loved, and valued. And so when I shared that story, it didn't make me feel weird anymore. And I realized that by sharing my story, I was not only inspiring others, but I was actually helping others realize that they had a story and that they mattered, and that their stories would positively impact and affect another human being's life. And that's an incredible gift we are all given. And I believe we were all thought leaders. It's that voice inside of us that tells us otherwise. And so, I went from terrified to empowered, and realized that, there was so much impact that was having internally on me, and the impact that was taking place and having on others, and life was changed forever. The overwhelm went away, and as we built this incredible community together, we were able to grow together and inspire one another and grow this in community. It became a family, and it honestly, again, it changed my life and continues to forever.
And as Michelle said, Brian has been on LinkedIn every day for 20 years. And so he spent a lot of that early time being brave, but also figuring out what worked and didn't work through trial and error. And again, by, being in the beta waves of video and live, Brian became an authority on things, and he was sharing his knowledge freely, giving it away, and established himself as a thought leader, as the person to go to for information. I met Brian, it was December 2020, during the pandemic. Actually, a week prior, I had been live on LinkedIn, and without a plan, without a notion, without a purpose, I actually shared my story. And I didn't know when I spoke to Brian that December, I hadn't heard his story yet. And so when I heard his story, I thought, wow, this is the power and the, oh gosh, I wish I had the right word, but the feeling of, this guy's done it. And I remember saying to him much later that, had I known you were such a big deal, I don't know that I would have reached out to you. I don't know that I would have. And so right here, I'm going to say nobody's too big of a deal to reach out to. We're all human. That's important. But what ended up happening is I went to one of the shows. We talked about those global award-winning live shows. And I went to one of the shows. And as the story goes, and I will admit, I showed up and I refused to go away. And I just kept showing up after week. And I was in the green room behind the scenes, and I would be greeting everyone and saying hello to everyone, making sure they felt welcome, remember something from the time before. And that's how I got that Queen of Engagement thing. But what was happening in all of this is I was meeting and being introduced to Brian's community as someone who was a thought leader based on my association with Brian. And then later, by purposely doing it, following his program, the program that we want to share with all of you. And in less than 10 months on the platform, I became one of those top 50 most impactful people 10 months later with this system, with this blueprint of how to go from, I ended up being very diffuse and fragmented because I found all these things that I loved on LinkedIn and was doing all of them and stopped focusing on one thing, to the point where people didn't even know they loved me. They didn't even know what to invite me for or to, or what I would do. And so getting that real focus of where am I going to serve? Where is my voice going to be heard? Building that community purposefully and believing and recognizing in myself that I have a powerful voice and I am a thought leader. And so Brian brought me to these opportunities with this program that we so want to share with you guys. We're so excited about it because we know it works. And I started becoming a #1 best-selling author. I was offered stages. I was guesting on shows. All these amazing opportunities were happening. And then we had a champagne problem. We had so many opportunities, so much going on. When I showed up, I was able to take some of the burden off of Brian, which also allowed him to then go even further than he had with the shows and doing all the stuff, and are both nurturing this beautiful community. But we had the champagne problem. And the next thing that Brian actually taught me was how to make sure that you are maintaining the integrity of your brand.
So key. You're sharing so many gems on this journey too. It's like, I just was thinking when you were first saying, like, how many people feel like that, how many can relate to, like, do I actually have a voice, and that there's opportunity to actually do it in a really impactful way, because there is so much noise. So to take us through that journey, which is incredible. And then where are you now? And you're helping other people do this too, right?
Which is an incredible privilege. It's an incredible privilege. And one of the things I love about this story, and I don't know that Brian would put his brag hat on, is he had been doing this systematically for years, and he had been coaching others how to do this. And I like to think that when I came on scene and he was able to help me achieve all of these things in 10 months, there was a little bit of an aha moment where it was like, this really is something. Because we all suffer from that moment of imposter syndrome where it's like, well, I don't know. Do I really know what I'm doing? Do I really have a system? Can I really guide people to this? And I can stand here and say, sit here, actually, I'm sitting, but I can sit here and say, yes, absolutely. By following the steps and being really purposeful and intentional, I achieved all of that and continue to grow more and more by working that loop again. Okay, now what's my next goal? What do I want to do? I'm going to work through the blueprint again. I'm going to go right back through that for the next goal I have. And ultimately, you heard in my bio, I'm a 3-time #1 international best-selling author. I've been invited to do keynotes and shows, like we said, and I have all these amazing awards and accolades that have been given to me. But honestly, and Brian agrees, the most amazing part of it to me is that now that we have identified the pieces and parts and created this blueprint, we can share this with others, because it's not, true thought leaders, it's not about us and only our personal success. It's really about shining the light on others, informing people, sharing our wisdom freely, and, giving people a voice who might not otherwise be heard.
So big. What a huge value to be able to do that. And I know you alluded to it a couple times, Nancy, is that there's actually a system. Like, it's not just a shot in the dark. It's like a system that can get you there, or a process, as we say in Canada, process or process. So,
Hey?
yeah, exactly. So, like, how do you do this? Like, what is this process? Can you kind of take us through a little bit of what that looks like?
Sure. Yeah. So this elite thought leader formula is something that we came up with many years ago. I had been working with Fortune executives for years, and it was really putting names to things that were just consistently working over and over again. So from standing up, the courage to decide to be a thought leader and to
Mhm.
inspire others and to share your voice, serving is really about identifying an audience that you're going to serve. Sharing is all about creating content that shares your ideas and your stories and your experiences.
And
Then
in the most impactful way too, so that they're being
exactly.
heard, which is really key because like you were saying earlier, Deborah, and Nancy, I say Nancy, Deborah. Nancy is like
It's
that
so funny because before I started my LinkedIn journey, I was only ever Nancy. And now I answer to Nancy, Deborah, Nancy, and Deborah. They're all great by me.
so good. Well, and I love it. And everyone gets to know your name. Everyone gets to know everyone's name too in the system because they are being heard. The voices are being heard. That it's like you were saying, Brian, the serving, which we'll get to dive in more later about that, and then sharing so that people can hear in a way that it's not just firing out everywhere, but it's really strategic how you're doing that too, so that it's amplified the most, which is so important.
Absolutely. And you're getting a theme. This is a 5 S's here. So stand up, serve, share, steward, which is all about growing a community and taking care of the people and those relationships. It's the heart of it all that matters. And then of course we started with standing up and we end with standing out, which is all about taking your message out to the rest of the world with speaking, with writing, and so many other things.
So good. So powerful when you combine all those. And I know you dive a lot more into this. There's a lot of meat and potatoes and love and strategy within each of those steps, I know for sure. So I want to ask this question to both of you. What do you think holds people back from
Mm.
actually diving in and doing it?
And I know what was holding me back. There definitely was fear, right? This fear that not owning my voice, that I was a thought leader, thinking that thought leaders are the top 1% of all industry and the people who are known as the experts, which they are, not taking anything away from them, but each and every one of us is a thought leader. It's a matter of, are you acting like a thought leader? Are you doing the thing thought leaders do? So I know for me, it was fear. I had spent a lot of money on other programs and was kind of convinced that there was nothing that was going to work and that I couldn't keep spending this money and wasting this time. So the fear of it not working was definitely there for me. And
How many can relate to that though? Like we try so many things, right? And then it's like, oh, that didn't work. And then it's almost like, goal trauma.
right.
Right.
And it leads to this frustration and burnout
Right.
because I was running on that wheel and I was doing all these things and not getting the results I wanted. And my first thing was like, okay, well, then I need to do more and more and more. And all it did was exhaust me. This is about working smarter, not harder. When you are
Mm,
targeted and purposeful and intentional, it does the work for you.
mm. I love it. Anything else that you want to add to it? Because I think one of the things is people like, can I actually do this? Right. Like, and you have worked with so many people now that you are helping them do this. Like I know that you probably have so many stories of success stories of people who, were afraid to step on the platform and did they have enough? Did they have what it took to do it? And to see you like literally walk them through the system to become those global thought leaders.
Yeah, I mean, look, imposter syndrome is real. I have it every day. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a top 100 TEDx speaker or whether you're a CEO of a Fortune company. These are natural human things that exist. And so I think honestly the most humble people are consistently battling with these things, and feeling like you're a top thought leader or an authority. It's being a distinguished leader is a thing. It's inside of you. And it's honestly, it's been such an honor and privilege to work with so many incredible humans around the world, and to help them see those things in them that they may not necessarily see in themselves, and to just watch them fly. It's a gift, and even more so the ripple effect that takes place in that, when they realize the impact and effect that they are having on others, and that they see in themselves then that gift that is beating within them, and that it inspires and impacts others by showing up and by being them.
And I know for me, having tried so many things and paid for programs and bought books and all of how had the coaches, like sustainability, like I'm going to do this and then what? So, in the course of working with my coach, great. They were helping me with, and coaches are great. I'm not putting coaches down at all. I think coaches need coaches. We all could use somebody that's on our side and cheerleading us and teaching us. But for me, what ended up happening is I did great during the coaching period. And then slowly over time, it just sort of disappeared. It fell off, and I'd be angry at myself and frustrated, and I'd try it again. And like I said, I started to lose my passion for it. I started to lose my love of it. I started to experience burnout. It became this burden that I had to do. I had to be on social media. I had to stay relevant. I had to show up. And one of the things for me with this blueprint is the sustainability and accountability. As you go through these steps, the idea of a blueprint is you can see the big picture, and here are all the steps to get there. And once you learn them, you're not going to unlearn them. And once you establish yourself as an elite thought leader, you maintain that by showing up and being you. We're not taking you and remolding you and putting you back together a different way so that you could be this, perfect thought leader that is defined by what, I'm not sure. But people tend to think you have to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, have a certain education. But all we're doing is bringing out the best in you. We're just cheerleading you from the outside in to find and discover what's already inside and teach you how to use it most effectively so that you are making those powerful connections. You are inspiring others. Your business is growing, and those opportunities are rolling in because you
I'm in.
as you.
Sold. I'm in.
I found my passion again. I did. I found my passion and my love again for all of this, in the way that there's room for everybody at the top. A rising tide lifts all ships. So there's no reason I have to hold back my knowledge. There's no reason we have to hold this, 5S formula to ourselves, because there's room for everyone. And because we're not trying to make this generic elite thought leader, there's especially space for all of us, because even if we're saying quote unquote the same thing, because we're all unique individuals with unique experiences and perspectives, it's going to be different and resonate with different people and reach people when they need to hear it.
I love it. So inspiring. And I love so much about the authenticity about it, about being real, about being who we are, about being who each of you are that's listening right now, to be those thought leaders and to actually really have that courage to step in and have a blueprint to know how to do it. Like it gives me goosebumps. It is very exciting. I hope that you're all really truly feeling that. I one more question, because it's like, what else holds people back? Because we often hear like time, or, what are the things that hold them back? Because they've tried so much stuff. So what is that you have found?
Time is definitely one. And again, of course, I'm a fan of this, and I'm a product of the process. The way the system works is it's an acceleration program. Like it gets you through all of these steps more quickly than most people would on their own time. Because I know personally, I was going to write a book. 3 years later, right? If I was trying to do this on my own, I'd still be trying to write that book, or, make the connections to get on stages, or find my signature talk. I could have done 3, 4, 5 different programs, taken a year more to do all of this, when this program, because we have worked it and gone through it with so many people is so tight and accelerates the process. And one of the fears, and this is what I tell everybody, because they're like, how? I don't know. I can't. All the internal, in addition to the
Mhm.
external, like my family and the time and the money, and I've got this. The two most important things you already bring to the table. It's the what and it's the how. What is you show up, and the how is authentically, honestly, genuinely, and real. And the rest, we know how to do that. And
So
we
good.
are waiting to teach you.
I love it. And you condense time, like let's condense that time and get it done. So what can everyone do next? Because I know we have something coming up that I am so thrilled and excited about to be joining you both on and inviting everyone to come. So what does everyone get to do?
I'm going to give you the drum roll, Brian told me.
Oh, I'm getting the drum roll.
Yeah, what's coming up? What's coming up?
We have a masterclass that is coming up on December 8th. We are super excited about it. In fact, December 8th happens to be my 20-year anniversary on LinkedIn. So it is a fortuitous event and time to be together. We are just super excited about it. We're going to be together for half a day, and we're going to be digging in and sharing knowledge that you can literally apply immediately. We're super excited about it. We are all about helping others, and this is our gift, to be able to come together and help you grow and learn and just make you even more empowered.
So we're
So
inviting
good.
all of you to the Influence and Impact Live Workshop, Friday, December 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And why? Why do you belong there? Because your insights and expertise are highly regarded and sought after. We're going to show you how to be heard globally.
So good. I know there's a link somewhere on this page where you're watching, where you get to watch this video. So hop on in, register, and we look forward to seeing you all there for one super jam-packed full of amazingness in that 4 hours. Brian and Nancy, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so excited to be doing the masterclass with you on December 8th. So join us all. We look forward to seeing you there and spreading your greatness as incredible thought leaders. Take care.
See you soon.
Do it now. Link
Scroll,
below.
scroll, click, click.
Scroll, click, click. See you soon.